What up everyone, Clinton here, and today we're back with some more ESO Online Wednesday. We're going to be playing through another dungeon with my Magicka Nightblade. We're going through the City of Ash in veteran rank, so it's going to be a little bit difficult, but our group pulls it out pretty okay. We don't have very much trouble, and if you guys want to know what my group is, we have 2 Templars, our healer and tank, a Dragon Knight DPS with two-handed. I don't really see him using anything other than two-hand. I don't know what his back bar is. And then myself as a Magicka Nightblade. So yeah, we did pretty good here. Our tank did good. Our healer did good. I think we did pretty decent as DPS. We killed things pretty quickly, so you can't really complain about that. And yeah, City of Ash. I've never actually been through this whole entire dungeon. I've gotten partway through it, and we've had to quit because we couldn't get past a certain point. And I'll mention that when we get there. But yeah, had a lot of fun with this. We are VR4 now, so a little bit higher up, but we still have VR2 gear. So we still have the same set of armor as we had before. So that's pretty good. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and go through our skills real quick so that way you know what they are. And if you've seen the last episode, you know what the skills are. So you don't have to worry about those. But just in case someone else who hasn't seen that video is watching this one, we'll go through the skills to give you a little bit of information about what our build's about. So for our first skill on our Destruction Staff bar, we have Inner Light. This increases our match magicka as well as gives us some spell critical. Our second skill is Merciless Resolve. This increases our damage for, I think it's 20 seconds. And if we get 4 auto attacks in, we get a spectral bow that we get to fire that does tons of damage. And you see me use it a lot, and it's pretty good. It does a big spike of damage, so that's really good for us. Our third ability is Funnel Health. This is our main spammable ability, and we use this to try to do as much damage, and it also heals us over time, so it does damage straight up and then gives us a heal over time. And with this morph, we actually give an ally some heals too, so this build is pretty good at keeping ourselves alive as well as healing the group. It's really supporty and it does pretty good damage. Fourth ability is Crippling Grasp. Holy shit, I can't say my own abilities. And this is just our damage over time. If we fight any bosses like this, we just kind of want to have it on them as much as we can. It lasts 8 seconds, so we have it on them, and then it just ticks over time. And then for our fifth ability is Impale. This does 300% increased damage when they're below 25% health. So it's pretty much our execute, and we spam it when they get below 25% health. And our ultimate for this bar is Veil of Blades. When we drop this down, it does damage over time. It slows the enemies, as well as we take reduced damage inside of it, so it's pretty good. And our allies can activate a synergy, which actually gives some health back, so it's pretty good, and I think it's probably the best, in my opinion, the best ultimate a Nightblade could have. So that's our first bar, which is a Destruction Staff. Our Restoration Staff has the more of the AoE supporty and buff stuff. So for our first one, we have Inner Light. We want to make sure we have that buff so we don't lose it, and that just increases our match magicka and our spell critical, and it's good to have on both bars so we don't lose any match magicka, so both bars have the same amount of magicka. For our second ability, it is Twisted Path, I believe it's called. It is pretty much does a corridor of like red, and it gives us movement speed and also deals damage over time. It's pretty much our main way of getting through groups of enemies. If there's like 12 people, we can just throw that down. And then spam our 3 ability on this bar, which is Sap Essence. Sap Essence heals us, increases spell damage, and it's pretty much our main AoE spammable ability. It's really good, and pretty much what I use. You can see me sustain pretty well when I get into big groups of adds or something. I just pretty much stand there blocking and spam 3, and then I don't die, even if I'm getting hit by all of them. Our fourth ability is Reaper's Mark. This lowers the resistances of an enemy, and if we kill them, we get a, I think it's Minor Berserk, which increases our damage, and so we just pretty much put it on a weak enemy, kill it, and then we have a lot of damage for the rest of the fight. And our fifth ability is Siphoning Attacks. I think that's what it's called. And this one just makes it so our basic attacks restore magicka and stamina, and gives us a chance for our abilities to do the same. So right here, I'm just spamming that 3 ability, our Sap Essence, and you can see me throughout the dungeon. When we ever get to these big groups like this, I pretty much just throw down Twisting Path, gives me movement speed, and then I stand in the middle and then just use Sap Essence, which damages people, heals me, and also heals my allies. So it's super utility supporty, and it's probably my favorite ability. It's really what makes this build work, because without this ability we wouldn't have the survivability. We only have like 20k. We have 20k health and 38,000 Magicka, so we have pretty good stats. But it's just this heal is amazing. Like, I can be fighting, like, I feel like sometimes when we get to the groups of ads, I could fight them all by myself. It might take a couple seconds, but I can use my 3 ability, and together with my ult, which I forgot to talk about, which is, I think it's Tether? I can't remember what it's called. There'll be, like, a thing on the screen here. It shows you what it does. But it pretty much, it stuns people and siphons health from them. So if I use that, and then my ultimate on this bar, it pretty much just kills them automatically, and if they don't, I sustain so much I won't die. So we have our second boss. The first boss I kind of talked over, but it was 3 people, and we just had to kill the 3 people. There wasn't really anything unique with them. This one's more of the same, not really anything unique. A lot of ads that I had to get stuck around killing by myself, but it's pretty easy. We're just trying to DPS them down, and right now my goal in this video is trying to make sure I don't take damage, I don't die needlessly, because that's kind of a thing I have a problem with. I'm used to playing a tank, so I'm like, oh, I can take a hit. But with a DPS kind of squishy, I can't afford to take a hit. So my main goal was trying to stay out of all the red and all the bad, and I don't really do an amazing job of it. So I kind of lack on the DPS because I'm trying to stay alive and trying to get focused on that. And I still really don't know what's good DPS. But in this fight here, I have 10k DPS, which I think is pretty decent. I don't see anything wrong with that. And we kill this first boss here. So yeah, pretty good. And City of Ash, like I said, I've never actually completed the whole thing. There's a special set you can get from this, which is a Valkyrian Scrubs, something Valkyrian. I don't know how to say the last word. But pretty much the set will give you max health, and then it increases your fire damage. So if you're a knight or dark knight, dragon knight, it's pretty good for you because you use a lot of fire damage. So if you get the 2 set of this, it's pretty good if you're DPS or even just tank, because you do a lot of fire damage for now, until they switch fire damage out for poison damage in the Dark Brotherhood DLC, which I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, this is just trash mobs, and it's pretty easy. I put Reaper's Mark on someone, put Twisting Path down, Sap Essence, and an ult sometimes. And we have this Flame Guardian, which is just a mini boss, really. I just kind of do my rotation, which I'll talk about a little bit more, so that way you guys can do this if you're trying to copy this build. So this is the part where usually when I try to do this, we die. It's mostly because I played as a tank and I have no idea what to do in this, and I'll kind of explain why. But pretty much what I do is I put Reaper's Mark on them to lower the resistances, get Siphoning Strike or Siphoning Attacks so I can get my magic and health back, and then I throw Twisting Path down just as AoE. And I also want to get Sap Essence because that increases my spell damage, and then I put Crippling Grasp on them, hit Merciless Resolve to increase my damage, and then just spam funnel health until it dies, and just reapply the buffs whenever I can. But the whole thing with this is that it spawns so many ads, and if your DPS and healer can't handle the ads while you're tanking the giant Dorgoth or Dragoth or whatever you say it, you're screwed. But this build is pretty fucking good at staying alive and fighting these mobs. My Sap Essence doesn't do a crazy amount. Like right there on crit it hits about 3k, and crit it hits about almost 6k. Excuse me. But it's decent, but I sustain so well I don't have to worry about it. And as long as I can keep hitting people and healing myself, as well as people who are near me, it's really good, and I don't really have a problem with this. I have a feeling if I had 2 Magicka Nightblades and a really good healer, as a tank, I wouldn't have to worry about trying to get these ads and taunt them, because that's what I try to do, and the Dagoth, or the big guy, got away from me, and that's usually how we lost. And as a tank, I really respect this guy because he did a pretty good job. Like, everyone in our group did a really good job. So I'm really happy we got this because I was a little bit worried. I was in queue for probably 5 hours total today, and I only got three dungeons. One was one that I already did, so I didn't want to do that one again. It was Dark Shades Caverns. And then I got one that had like 8 people in it, and they were trying to decide which ones they were going to use. So I just left because I thought it was stupid. But right now, we're just AoEing the ads down and trying to kill this guy as fast as we can. Our DPS is really lacking in this because, like I said, Sap Essence isn't really good. And I've been neglecting to put my buffs on when I'm dealing with the ads, which is something I'm pretty bad at. I don't buff up for ad groups, which I don't think you really need to get through them, but it's probably better if you do that. That way you can kind of get through them a little bit quicker. And right there, do you see that fucking dodge roll? Dodge out of that red? Super fucking slick by me, if I do say so myself, even though it wasn't. But another super fast mode, thanks to Only Use Me Blade. Man, there's so many YouTubers I watch, and I steal the references, and I feel bad, but like, no one gives a shit if I steal them. Only Use Me Blade is a dude that only knifes when he stabs them in Call of Duty, and whenever he fast forwards, he yells super fast mode, ah. And I always say that whenever I fast forward shit. You probably don't care, right? I mean, I'm just stealing his catchphrase, who cares? Okay, so this rock jump here, see how easy that was? And I was like, okay, let's go, guys. And it was like, oh, our fucking tank fell in the goddamn lava. Like, are you fucking kidding me? How do you fall in the lava? Also, just a side note, if you're a vampire, you are fucked. You cannot go through City of Ash. Vampires take increased damage to fire. Every goddamn boss is fire. Every single one of them. There's flame atronachs everywhere. The Daedra fucking have fire spells. It's rough. It's rough for vampires. So that's why I refuse to become a vampire, because I know I'll probably have to run dungeons like this with a lot of fire, and it's gonna suck. So here is Ash Titan. He has a cool voice actor here, and it's Falcon Scoria. That's what it is. He's the main boss of this, and he's like yelling at us half the time. So the whole thing with this is pretty simple. He just kind of puts fire everywhere, so if you keep him in like close proximity to the other fires and you spread the fire very slowly throughout the map, then you're good. But if you scatter around too much and you can't, keep your allies out of the fire, then you have trouble. Also, you could see there's like marked at my feet, and it flew red right to me. And pretty much there, your healer just has to heal yourself. And look at those fucking jukes. Those jukes of hazard through that fire. And right here, our tank kind of loses taunt on that, so that's not very good. But yeah, I'm trying to just get my rotation down. I haven't had a lot of opportunities to go through dungeons, because I said the dungeon queuer in this game fucking sucks. And there's 5 hours total today, and I only got into 3 dungeons, and 2 of them were dumb. And then one of them I tried to get into, we got halfway through a banished cells, and a dude just rage quit because we died once because he's a bad tank. Maybe he's not a bad tank. He pissed me off. He was just telling everyone what to do, and he wasn't that good. I mean, if you're really good, tell people what to do. But if you're not very good, don't tell me what to do. Anyways, I'm just trying to do my best. I put my ultimate down here, and I'm going about 7k DPS, which is, I'm not really happy about that. I'm trying to get up to 10, and right there, that spectral bow doesn't do much of anything. But right now, I'm just executing, and it will crit for 17k. So once they get low, my impale does so much damage. And right there, I just stand in the red stuff because I'm good at this game. So we killed the Ash Titan, on our way to go to kill Falcon Scoria. And as you can see, I haven't died yet, which I'm super proud of. And spoiler alert, I do die in this, but it's the dumbest thing ever, and it's super frustrating. And once we get to it, I'll explain it a little bit better. But I'm pretty sure it's fast mode until we get to the boss, because we're just clearing just ad groups, and there's not really anything exciting to see. It's pretty much the same thing over and over. It's twisting path into Sap Essence, and I put a Reaper's Mark on one person to get the buff, and that's about it. And yeah, my UI is like, hey, your UI can't handle this. You need to, you know, get rid of some add-ons or something. I'm like, we'll be okay. But right here, so instead of just going to the right and following that, two guys just want to go out in the lava. They love being in the lava, and apparently, I don't know. So they go that way, and I'm like, am I supposed to follow them? And now I get over here, I'm like, okay, apparently there's people right there. So I run in here, and when I get over here, I just get one-shotted. And I'm like, God damn it. I really wanted to go with a no-death run, but right there, that was it. After this, I don't die. It's super frustrating to die like that to the stupidest part ever. And also, you might say, why do you have your chat closed? You can't see what your group says. I'm lazy, and I don't actually know how to change my chat so I don't see my guild chat. Because I joined a guild, but they talk a lot. I don't think they actually play the game. I'm pretty sure they sit around and talk to each other. So they just talk about random bullshit, and I don't feel comfortable putting their names out and their conversations out when I don't know they're being recorded. So I don't do that to them. So we're here. We gotta destroy these towers here to be able to lower the bridge. And I could have unfast forwarded this, but if I did, it would probably be about a 27-minute long video instead of a 22-minute long video. So I just did it this way. There is a boss up here that we have to fight, but it's just a generic boss with really no gameplay mechanic. None of these bosses really have any gameplay mechanics that I could find. Most of them are pretty easy. They were just kind of big characters that would one-shot you if they had the chance, like the Dagoth and the Ash Titan. But this is the boss here. It's just a general Daedra, which if you have any of the Fighters Guild perks, which are passives, which allows you to do more damage to Daedra, I would definitely pick those passes up before you come in here, because I'm pretty sure all the enemies in this place are Daedra, as well as many of the other dungeons have a lot of Daedra enemies. So getting those Fighters Guild passives to increase damage to Daedra is pretty important, and I actually just pick those passes up as we enter this place, because I remember there's so many Daedra. And I'm pretty fickle with my skill points. I don't like using them until I absolutely have to. So it's a pretty big deal for me to say use them on passives in the Fighters Guild thing. And you have to be pretty high level in it. I think I'm like level 8 in Fighters Guild, so I could get all 3 points of it to increase damage, or increase spell damage and weapon damage against Daedra. But just make sure to focus on that. Also, Mages Guild stuff is pretty important too, so make sure to get the add-ons to get the books. So that way you can increase your Mages Guild, because there's some perks in there as well, which increases like your Magicka for Mages Guild slotted. And that dude just has the balls to jump on the bridge there. And like when it's not even together yet, and I respect that, man. But here we are at the last boss, Valken Scoria. So like I said, I've never actually fought this guy, and right here I learned whenever he looks at you and fires red, you need to block or you will die. It's super important, even as a DPS, to block and also not open your menu when you're trying to jump. Blocking when you see something coming at you, it's super important. People don't do it. They think it's like for tanks only. But when I go in the ad groups and I'm trying to AoE them down, I spam sap Essence and hold block, because I don't want to get hit anything that one-shots me by accident. So this guy is throwing out fire left and right. You just gotta kind of juke around. So after a while, he will actually blow up those circle discs, and I didn't realize that was happening. So pretty much what you want to do is you want to hop between circle discs and try to kill him as fast as you can. He also spawns some Atronox, which gives him a shield, and I just kind of try to AoE him down as fast as I can, and I just focus on getting those flame Atronox dead, and then I'll focus back on Scoria. And my DPS is pretty bad in this, mostly because there's so much other things you have to worry about. It's hard to actually get your rotation right when you're trying to dodge everything, which if you're a good player, you probably wouldn't have a problem with this, but since I'm still kind of a noob dungeon runner, I need to work on it a little bit more. But I'm trying to get my buffs up, I'm trying to get my spam abilities up, and I think it says about around 8k DPS, which is pretty good when I'm trying to juke and jive all this stuff. And we just gotta watch out for the thing he throws at us, which does about 3/4 of my health. Right here, I need to block that. I do block it. So if you want to go back and see how much it did before, it probably did about 3/4 of my health, or 2/3, and that did about a third or a quarter. So that's pretty important to block. You just got to make sure if he's looking at you and you think he's gonna fire that giant golden load at you, make sure to block or you'll die. So right here I ult. I get 2 Flame Atronachs and my Veil of Blades, the damage over time, and it will reduce the damage I take, so I'm just trying to get that down, and I'm killing this last Flame Atronach, and then I'm going to turn on Falcon Scorian. He's going down pretty quickly, and I think that's mostly thanks to the other DPS. I don't really know his numbers, but I always felt like when I was focusing the ads, the boss was still getting tons of damage on him. So this guy was pretty good. These guys are, like, this group is pretty good. Usually you have people complaining, usually you have people bitching, but these people just were very nice and just got through the boss as quickly as they can. And they did their jobs really well. I don't think I ever got below, like, half health unless it was my fault. Our healer was good, our tank always had aggro, and our other DPS probably out DPS'd me like a boss. But we're getting pretty close for him to being really low and to our spammable ability for the execute. And right now, I'm just trying to get these Atronachs dead. I put down another Veil of Blade to get the damage over time. We have both Atronachs in it, and Falcon Scorian actually steps out of it, so that's a little bit disappointing. But we're just gonna kill him. He's super low now, so I think it's about time for the execute. Yep, I think he hit 24 right there. And now it's just time to execute. 19k crit, 11k non-crit executions right there. Pretty good. And even if I had better gear, it'd probably be way better. I don't have Julianos yet. I'm looking forward to getting Julianos as soon as I can. But I'm waiting for the Dark Brotherhood DLC to change the rankings real quick. And then we'll be ready. And there we go. We killed Falcon Scoria. And like I said earlier, he has actually a special set with him. And if we go to the chest, will I get a special set of it? And that I'll never use because I don't use flame damage. And then here we go, and scroll down, and we actually get Falcon Scoria's hat. So 8% chance when damaging an enemy, damage over time effect of fire. I think that's what it said. But there we go. Someone in the guild thing was like, "Oh my god, finally! I finally got the hat." And I'm like, I already had it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like on this if you enjoyed. And this is Clayton, signing out.